Waiting for it to come on live so we can get started. Here we go. What's good, gang? Lovely Soul Empress here, coming to do another daily for you guys. All right. So, I woke up this morning, and what's good, Copenhagen? I woke up this morning, and Spirit was talking to me about the heart chakra and discernment. Okay, and how people confuse blockages with karma. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that today because I feel like when something negative happens right away, we assume that it's karma for something, and sometimes it is, right? But a lot of times, it's really signifying something that we need to clear out from one of our chakras, okay? And I feel like that's what we're going to talk about today. If I could find somewhere to put this incense, we could get started. Let me just put it here. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do, I got a new singing bowl. Okay, it's actually the heart chakra frequency. Okay, so we're gonna start with that. Okay, we're gonna clear the heart chakra. Okay, so deep breaths in and out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Okay, all right, let's begin. What's good, everybody? What's good, Copenhagen, Crystal Jade, Jennifer LaRoe, L Cubed? What's good, everybody? So, when I first came on, what I was talking about is that I had gotten a download from Spirit about the heart chakra and what blocks us, okay, and how a lot of times we assume that it is, what's good, Tamila, that it is, if you want a heart chakra clearing, go back like a minute, Tamila, okay? But I feel like when something negative happens, we automatically put it to karma and we don't look at discernment. Okay, so what's good, Rose? All right, so we're gonna talk all about that today. Okay, I have 1 hour, okay, because I have to I have to drop off my son. So we're gonna get started. All right, let's go with the energy oracle. Okay, so basically what Spirit was saying is that we often feel like, why is something happening to me? Or what did I do to deserve this, right? And we don't automatically go to discernment. And that's where you should start, okay? So even if it was karma in some way, you would need the discernment, okay, to recognize the lesson in the karma. Okay, so I feel like whenever we go through something, Spirit is asking us to check our discernment, all right? And I feel like this heart chakra thing, it can be that it's a secondary reaction, meaning that it's giving you a blockage in your heart chakra, but it could be attached to your sacral. Okay, could be attached to your Ori, all right? Your crown chakra, right? Because that's where your memories, right? Call as soon as I go on, right? So let's take a look, guys. Patience is here. Okay, so sometimes we want something the way we want it instead of the way it should be, right? Or we want to rush something rather than allowing things to unfold naturally. And sometimes that's you putting your finger on the scale, okay? And that actually gives you an adverse reaction. You got woman holding a coin. Okay, some of yous could be manifesting money, thinking that, everything in life would feel great if your money was better. Okay, and that, could be, your masculine energy, right? But that's very physical. It's very 3D, right? And once you clear out some of those chakras, you start to realize that you can call in anything you want. Okay, it's usually the blockages, contract, right? So this contract, right? This feels like a soul contract. So we sign this contract to come through into this life expecting to address certain soul lessons. Okay, so then when you come through, you forget that you signed this contract. You don't really know what the contract is for. And I feel like what Spirit is saying is that every negative experience that you had is part of the soul growth. Okay, it's part of the soul lesson, adjacent possibilities, right? So it's also talking about us having to not only discern why something has happened, not only discern what we're supposed to learn from that experience, but also supposed to learn how to redirect. Okay, and that's the part that a lot of times we miss. Okay, we don't redirect. Okay, especially like when you really get down in the dumps, right? That's actually like right after you come out of that. Okay, that is a very good time to manifest. Okay, so if you haven't, if in those dark moments, okay, when you're really feeling down, if you're not looking at discernment and where you could target that energy instead of tearing yourself down and using it to lift yourself up, then it won't be as effective as it could have been. Okay, so like I realize now that some of the times that I have been at my lowest, when I reemerged, it was when I got the most forward motion, see, movement, right? And then you got ride the wave, right? So if everything is in an ebb and flow and an up and down, then when you go down, right? It's like when you, let's say you're in a deep pool, right? Like when we were kids and you were in a deep pool and you try to touch the bottom, right? You got to take a deep breath and you go down, right? You're holding that energy as you push yourself up, right? And then when you come up, you exhale, right? So in a sense, we're kind of like using this to propel us, okay? And sometimes we're just so lost in the emotion of the shadow moment that we forget to use it to propel us. Look at the compass, okay? It's always giving you a direction, all right? Thank you so much, Crystal. Okay, so I feel like what Spirit is saying is that sometimes when we get down, okay, or when we have a blockage, okay, especially heart or sacral, like we miss an opportunity for soul growth. Look, see, metamorphosis. You see how Spirit is using the cards to explain, right? So a lot of times those shadow moments are there to like help you see what you need to purge. Okay, see what you need to purge. And oftentimes we forget, like, you know, once we come out of the shadow, we just are so happy to feel better that we don't want to look at the experience. And that's where the soul growth is. Okay? That's where the soul growth is. If you can use that time period, whether it's a day, a month, or a year, to propel your forward motion, you will have much greater success, okay? Our greatest personal power is the ability to take over our impulses and direct our minds to choices and commitments that will serve us, right? So this is why when we're in shadow, we should be examining what triggered us. And I'm always telling you, when somebody takes you off your square, rather than getting upset, you need to look at what was it that triggered you and what does it remind you of. Okay, because if you can learn to discern, keyword, discern the trigger and where that is stemming from, then you have the ability to take control of that energy and use it in a way that serves you. Okay, rather than it just throwing you off course, sitting on the couch eating bonbons, right? Waiting to feel better and not really getting any kind of growth out of it. Okay, self-examination, the chosen ones, that's what we're here for, to examine. Okay, and also because I've told you that, you know, Spirit is disseminating us to lead in our particular circles. So if you haven't done the work, or you're not willing to look at how or what has triggered you, or how to come out of that with the best forward motion, then how can you teach it to somebody else? Okay. We do not need more time. We need a stronger reason to act so that we use time more effectively. And again, right, the shadow periods, a lot of times we use those shadow periods to tear ourselves down rather than understand how we can lift ourselves up. Okay, I feel like that's a big part of the challenge. All right, we miss this opportunity. Okay, and I'm going to mention something else too. And this one says, there is no beauty in the world more perfect, more awe-inspiring, and more human and transfixing than unfiltered, unashamed love. Right? And with the love, sometimes old heartbreaks, they prevent us from getting new love in many forms, okay? So for instance, let's say you had difficulties with your mother in communicating, right? This could also show up in your relationships with women because it's tainted whether that initial relationship feels nurturing or domineering or disconnected, right? Male or female, this can affect how we view feminines. Same thing goes with the masculines. Okay, let's say you got an abandonment issue with your dad. Okay, you may feel like no man will be present like that, but yet you're chasing that presence, right? So it becomes a subconscious trigger, and if we don't ever address it, it will be a problem that faces us, you know, for the rest of our lives. Okay, so it feels like what spirit is saying is that we got to use some level of discernment to figure out why things in the heart chakra have lived there way past their expiration, right? So and this is why I was saying that the heart and the sacral and the, you know, all of these can affect, right? So like, let's say you got a sexually transmitted disease from somebody that you were having sex with. Not only could it be heartbreaking, but now you have something going on in your sacral chakra that has taken root, and now those two things are both having a blockage, right? This is one way of explaining that, right? So let's say you had a heartbreak where somebody was cheating on you, right? Male or female, right? And the memory of that stays with you. So anytime something looks off with somebody that you're with, your mind jumps to the past. Okay, so memory, right? And you are reliving something from the past. It's affecting your Ori, or your crown chakra, and your heart at the same time. Right? So spirit is saying, you know, it's usually a two-part, right? So let's say let's say you had a parent who used to tear you down and say very negative things to you, right? And then in a relationship, you find that you keep attracting people who speak down to you. You know, this also may be because you didn't feel empowered to use your throat chakra, right? And this is attaching to your heart chakra because it's making you feel less than. So spirit is telling us, where in the body does this blockage, okay, what's good, Leah Lou? Where in the body is the blockage living? Where is it stemming from? What chakras are partnering in this deception, in this hiding grief and sorrow? Where in your physicality are these echoes of yesterday showing themselves through projection, through depression, through your relationships, through your health? Okay, so I heard today I was listening to another reader. What's good, LQ? I was listening to another reader. Okay, and it's not about the reader, you know, but she said something that struck me. Okay, she said that the Empress could never be as above, so below, that she's only vibing high, and I disagree, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, so the womb is dark, is it not? The womb is dark, right? It is where the germination happens. This is where, in that darkness, we are creating a child, right? I feel like the womb is dark because it's germinating, right? If you ever started with seeds for a plant, right? Usually you leave that seed in soil or in water or something for a day or two in a dark, damp space. Why? Because it promotes growth, right? So even the Empress, when she is, especially like when she's in her shadow, what's good, Shamika? Especially when she goes into shadow, right? She does nothing but knows how to like nurture and give birth to creativity, right? So do you think that she's there tearing herself down, or do you think that she's using that darkness to create and birth something new, right? So not all shadow is negative, right? But the Empress must go into a period of gestation, of darkness to birth something new. Okay? It is not it shouldn't be looked at as negative. It should actually be looked at as an experience to be able to birth something. Okay? An opportunity to birth something. Okay, came out reverse, the trees. Okay, so When we allow our chakras to be closed off, or when we refuse to deal with things, especially the heart chakra, I feel like this kind of disconnects you momentarily from the tree of life. Okay? Because you're not feeling understand that the spinal cord and where the chakras align, yeah, not all shadow is negative, right? I mean, we all came from a womb, which was a dark space. Okay, so when the chakras align, it's in a column, right? Your spinal cord and your crown, your ori. This is the tree of life. Okay, so if you are only going up to your sacral, then the rest of the light switch won't work, or the string of lights, right? Or if you go up to your heart chakra, right? Same difference. They won't all light up. Okay, some of us, we have blockages from prior relationships, marriages, even marriages that we observed in our family, the dysfunction of them. Right? Remember that reading? In our family portrait, we could be so happy. And how we recreate some of the own traumas that we've been through in our own lives. And it's almost like we need to purge them, but maybe we're trying to recreate them so that we can not make the same mistakes. But it's the programming that we have been subjected to that does not permit us to get the full functionality of that. See, because there's things that we have to forgive in others, in ourselves. But if you don't look at the shadow period as an opportunity for growth, for leveling up, for the frequency to generate a forward motion, then we miss an opportunity. Okay? And if we're so busy labeling it to be like some type of karma that we got because we did something, then, some people might not like this, okay? But then that's based on, based on the formula of Christianity, right? Where you're brought here to suffer and you got to go through all this shit so you can be happy and life has to be hard. And who said, if you're made in the likeness of the Most High, right? And you are the all, then you have to retrain yourself to know that it's not meant to be hard, okay? And that you deserve positive things. But if you believe that, then that's what you bring in, right? And then when too many days add up like that, what do we end up? We end up depressed, exhausted, and in shadow. And this will be cyclical, okay? So think about how many times you've gone into shadow in your life and how you could use that shit to generate your forward motion, and how you could have missed opportunities. Okay, because it feels like a lot of time when we come out of shadow, we're just so happy to be out of it. We don't want to look at the experience. Okay, and what we were supposed to discern. We're missing opportunities is what Spirit is saying. Okay, you got the Queen of Cups, okay? Some of it is based in our mothers, and, not to say that they're bad, but they were doing the best they could, okay? They hid their hurts. They tucked them away. They felt like they had to push forward, be the all for everybody. And this is this self-sacrificing, empathetic, give till you drop type energy. And the shadow, or the Lilith, or the primordial divine, the Empress, right? This is the part that is the womb. When you're in shadow, it's protective. It's protective. You are healing. This is an opportunity to heal. So Copenhagen writes, I find it difficult to define what is a chakra blockage and what is a soul journey. Your soul journey is the overall purpose and mission of your life, right? And a blockage is things, whether it's your heart chakra or any other, is an experience that you go through that is preventing you from achieving your highest self, right? Because on the opposite side of each of those blockages, they're put there as part of the overall soul journey so that you could address things that you signed up to learn in this lifetime, right? So every time we reject this opportunity for this soul growth or for this clearing of the chakra and releasing these blockages, we are actually destined to repeat that shit, right? Because the point was for you to learn something, right? So the shadow is there to help you heal, okay? To be protective. Crystal writes, I don't see the shadow as blockages because it's always transmuted into positive energy to move forward. Exactly, right? So if the Empress was not able to have the as above, so below, then how would she grow? Okay? How would anything break through the soil? Okay? Crystal writes, I love my shadow. I learned it was always protecting me. Yes, so we need to embrace these opportunities. They're not meant to be afraid. They're telling you, think of it as hermit energy in a sense, right? That spirit is telling you now it's time for you to separate yourself and look at what is triggering you. What does it remind you of? What do you need to release? Look, the Eight of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune, right? That's communication for movement forward. So take it as spirits trying to communicate with you through these experiences, right? A lot of times when we have something negative going on, we look to who to blame. So we're communicating with these wands. It's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. But we don't look at our part. Not only how we might have misled ourselves or got off track or, didn't use discernment in relationships or how we should have chose better, right? But we're also, missing the opportunity to get a message, right? Clear out the chakra and communicate to spirit. I'm now ready for the next leg of the journey, right? And look what comes out next, the Hermit, just like I was just saying, right? Don't ever be afraid of the Hermit. Look what comes out. Can't believe it, right? So you got the Hermit here. So you go into the Hermit, right? And you go, remember the Hermit carries a light and that spirit talking to you, right? What comes out? The Knight of Swords. So while you're in Hermit, the heart chakra is lighting up, right? You're listening to spirit, third eye, right? You're not really taking any action. Your solar plexus is not forward motion, right? But your throat chakra is feeling all that the heart has suppressed. And what comes out? The Knight of Swords. Time to take the sword out of your throat chakra and release what your heart chakra has been holding, right? King of Pentacles, right? Both masculine and feminine. This is like a firm foundation. The King of Pentacles likes to be stable and balanced, right? So this allows you to get that repositioning, reestablishing, right? Grounding, right? And then what happens? And then that lights up the solar plexus, okay? With the King of Wands here. Now the solar plexus is ready, right? Look at this. And the solar plexus, the King of Wands, is being clarified with the Queen of Cups. Why? Because your heart chakra, Queen of Cups, is open, and the King of Wands, right, likes to take action. So now you already cleared your heart chakra. You got the Knight of Swords. You pull the sword out of your throat. And whether you're saying this to somebody else, you're saying it in the mirror, or you're saying it to spirit, you're saying, I know what I want now. And now I'm ready to take action towards this. I know what part to heal, and I can do it with an open heart, a clean heart, right? And then you have the Wheel of Fortune again. Right? And then it will happen again. Something will take you out of frequency, right? As you see, she's sitting in the bottom of the wheel, right? So you're going back in to, maybe this time it's not sadness, maybe it's anger. But anger is a secondary emotion, okay? You can ask any therapist, okay? Anger is a secondary emotion, right? So then you're going to be protective again. Freeze, stop, right? I don't want this. This is not aligned with me, right? And you might get angry, but when you get angry, what do I say? Use it as an opportunity to look at what triggered you, right? Two of Swords. Was there something that this person did, or was it something that you didn't see that was already there? Again, preparing to go into shadow to look at what part didn't you discern? Because the signs are there. People show you who they are, right? And then let's go deeper than that. Let's talk about the fact that when you attract something, let's say you keep attracting negative partners, right? As above, so below. You are what you attract. So that means that you're missing something external, right? So if you're just like, oh, this is always happening to me, like, why the fuck does this keep happening? You're missing the opportunity to see what about yourself keeps attracting this vibration, because that's all it is a vibration, right? Now, the Page of Swords is in reverse. Now, the Page of Swords in the upright means blockages. It's in reverse. This is how you clear the blockages away. Every time you have a shadow experience, a triggering, it is an opportunity for you to cut another generational cord that has been holding you back, okay? Or some experience that you keep repeating in your own lifetime, right? And you learn how to manifest, how to use, because remember, there's 5 parts of the soul, right? Each part is integral, right? If you are not using the shadow to its full benefit, you're going to have trouble manifesting to its full benefit as well, okay? And what is at the root of all these anger and triggering? Some form of heartbreak, some form of disappointment. And this prevents us from taking action from the King of Wands, right? 8 of Pentacles, we sometimes put our energy in the wrong direction, working hard. Let's say that, again, back to the abandonment issue, right? So you could have been abandoned by a parent. You could have seen it like, why wasn't I good enough for this parent to stay around for me? Meanwhile, it has to do with their relationship or their own upbringing, right? And you go through this, and then, you know, you could be a woman that, let's say you have to be at work at 9 and you're up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you know, putting on makeup and worried about how you appear and trying to not, you know, like say the wrong thing. And you know, you go out on a date and you're ordering salad, not because you like salad, but you don't want him to think that, you know, you like to eat. Like, this is all like in hopes of catching something, getting something that you feel you have to use some type of trickery because you don't feel good enough. Right? When I go out on a first date, I want an appetizer. I'm going to get the biggest plate that I want, not because I'm expecting this person to pay, but I want them to know, like, yo, I'm hungry. I stay hungry. I like food. I like food almost as much, if not more, than sex. Okay? It's a whole experience and a vibe, right? Be yourself, but you have to be comfortable in the shadow to be able to be comfortable in the light. Okay, I'm going to say it again. You have to be comfortable in your shadow to be comfortable in the light. Okay? What's good, Frequency Connects? This is how you get the most of the of the relationship with spirit, the star, right? The burdens, okay, the burdens are not to punish you. The burdens that you encounter in this lifetime are not to punish you. Yes, they're blockages, right? But there is what it's trying to teach you is how to free yourself from the blockages, how to overcome those blockages, how to maintain your passion and vibrancy for life, okay? Yes, beautiful things grow in the shadow. You got that damn right. Okay? This is where you learn your strength. If everything was easy every day, you would be very complacent. You would not have a full appreciation or gratitude, right? For all the good things that happen, okay? All right. So, and you know, in your shadow, though, that's the moment, even especially for people who aren't regularly spiritual, right? The shadow is the moment where you turn your gaze from the self to the Most High. And, you know, even your tears are a spell, right? So this is when you release to the divine. Okay, I was listening to a TikToker, was it last night? And she said that the makeup or the chemical balance of the tears of joy versus tears of sorrow are very different. There is a purpose for those tears of sorrow. It is to heal. It is to release toxins. There are so many people that believe that illness is caused by blockages in the chakra. I happen to be one of those people. Okay? So purging is absolutely important. Okay? Purging is absolutely important. Oh, thank you guys for the love. Okay, so, you know, this is what I'm saying. Like, we need to really look at why we respond in the way, right, that we do. And this Five of Swords, are we manipulating ourselves, right? You see, he's cut his hand with the sword. Are we manipulating ourselves out of having to take that action because to conquer those fears? Look at these two in the back holding a sword, right? He's worried about the cut in his hand when he could have walked through. It looks like they were gonna knight him, right? So we stop short of what would take us into the future because of these Ten of Swords moments. But on the other side of that is the Hierophant, right? That even after total destruction, to have faith and hope that Spirit's going to guide you through. You see the opposite here? This is what's supposed to happen. When you go through the dark moment, you're supposed to use that to elevate you. Okay? This is not a personal reading, okay? If you want that, you can come in on Wednesdays at 7, all right? And that's $15. Okay? So I am gonna clarify this Queen of Cups. Can somebody time her out? Because she doesn't seem to understand that I just said that this is not a Q&A, personal Q&A. Okay, Queen of Cups. All right, so you've got the moon here, okay? When you allow yourself to go into shadow and use it effectively, not only will it guide you towards soul growth, right? But it shows you what your deepest desire is, okay? It will always redirect you to the soul path. Always redirect you to the soul path, okay? This is how your inner high priestess communicates to you what you're missing, all right? Sometimes, you know, we might be so based in fact and logic, like, okay, well, I have been sad for a week. You know, it's time to pick myself up and dust myself off, right? Air energy, and never look at you know, never really get the full experience, right? And look at what we could learn, and what happens. You have to repeat that cycle again. Here comes the same old fucking heartbreak, right? Because maybe you were supposed to speak something to existence. All right. Maybe you were supposed to shed some tears. Maybe you were supposed to go in a new direction. All right. Or maybe this pain is showing you that something doesn't resonate with you anymore, and they're trying to point you in the right direction. But because you won't allow that darkness to look at that healing, you prevent yourself from that soul growth. Okay. So I'm going to get a kipper, and then I got to get ready to get up out of here because I have to take my son to work. All right. But I feel like this is, you know, what you should be thinking about for the next, you know, week or so. Okay. That the shadow is healing. And what have you learned, or what did you discover about yourself in those shadow moments? Okay. What times that you didn't do the shadow work, or that you ignored it? Like, what cycles did you have to repeat? If you can kind of pick that out in your own life, you'll start to learn how to use that darkness for healing instead of for suffering. Because I feel like a lot of times that's what we do. We just go down in the dumps, but we don't look at how we could use that to empower ourselves. Sometimes them thoughts will kick your ass, right? Because a lot of the time, most of what we say, right? I read a study that says that on average, we say 1,500 words a day, right? How many of those are replaying in your own mind? 80% of the conversation you have is subconscious, right? So how much of that is negative self-talk? How much of that is preventing you from, you know, getting that soul growth? What's good, Tammy? Okay, so thoughts is here, right? This is that negative conversation, right? And instead of beating yourself up with these negative conversations, you need to surrender it to the divine. But you won't do that until it becomes too heavy. Because remember, when I said you have your worst shadow moments, what happens? You turn your gaze from what's happening and you turn it up to the divine, right? I can't take this, spirit. Please assist me, right? Instead of letting your mind ruminate. Okay, so again, these are the things that cause blockages, okay? I really feel like your crown chakra, if you're allowing a lot of things to ruminate about the past, it's not forward thinking, okay? It's not in the now. And this is where we miss that opportunity, okay? That in the shadow is where the growth is, where the healing is. All right, guys? Okay, and then you have main male and gratitude. How can you, whether you're a male or a female, how can you truly give yourself over to love without the gratitude of the negative experiences that you've had and the growth, so that way you can actually appreciate the things that come into you? Okay, your soul partner, right? If you haven't looked at why in certain areas, you know, maybe you trust your partner, but you don't trust a friend, right? And there could be, you know, we all have different trust issues, right? If you don't uncover that, you can't really be grateful for what you have, because maybe you're secretly feeling like you don't deserve it, right? And believe it or not, when you allow yourself to look at those shadows and let that propel you, right? That healing period of darkness, right? You learn how to manifest the abundance that you really want, whether it's financial, whether it's in love, okay? But you need patience in those dark moments to discern what is really being triggered and how you can open yourself to love, okay? So that was the download that I got. I am going to do the singing bowl one more time. All right. We started with a heart chakra clearing. We're going to end with one. And then I'm up out of here, guys. Okay. So you can take some deep breaths. Okay. In through the nose. Sit up nice and tall. Feel that Feel that breath work in your diaphragm, okay? In through the nose, out through the mouth, okay? Clear away those blockages. Release what no longer serves you. Okay, my loves. So today, try to spend a little time on thinking about how your shadow has helped you rather than how it's hindered you, okay? So that's what I have for you guys. I'd just like to say thank you to my returning subscribers for coming through and spending a little time with me. And if you're a new viewer and you felt I resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and comment, as I'd love to have you as part of the Lovely Soul family. And please tell me whether you love the bowl work. Okay, we can do this more often if you like. All right. So I'm wishing you all light and love and blessings on blessings. Namaste, gang gang. Bye.